Hi, dear friends, and welcome. Welcome to day one of the Receive Challenge. Receive the gift of you. What a energetically charged weekend this has been, and what a beautiful week we have ahead of us. We are starting the Receive the Gift of You challenge, the 5 days challenge in Masterclass, today on the potent day of the summer solstice, on the 21st of June. And if you're watching this in replay, or if you're watching this at a later date, do not worry, you can still easily and freely tune into the energy of the summer solstice and what it means. The reason I wanted to bring all of us together into this beautiful challenge for the summer solstice is because exactly at this time of year, as we enter the zodiac sign of the Cancer, we connect more to the energies of the heart. And in astrology, Cancer is actually connected to receiving, to nurture, to self-love, to family, to self-love and self-trust, to abundance. So it is a beautiful way to start the challenge, and it is an incredibly potent time to do it. Also, what I'm receiving and what I'm seeing in the world happening right now is that a lot of people are caught up in the in division. A lot of people are caught up in belittling others, in guilt, self-guilt, and there's a lot of heavy emotions running around. And instead of pointing fingers, it is towards others or towards whoever it may be. It is so important to look at ourselves, to look within, and to take decisions for our lives, especially in these times of great change and great challenge in the world, to make decisions for ourselves, not anybody else than ourselves, from a place that comes from love, from a place that comes from the inner knowing of the heart and the sacredness of ourselves. So making decisions honoring the sacredness of who we are and the divine spark that is never dormant, that is always alive inside of us. So I really wholeheartedly welcome you. I hope that by tomorrow I will figure out how the Zoom live on Facebook works, so I can do a live, my first live in this group. And in the meantime, welcome. I have prepared a series of slides for day one of this challenge. And I have also prepared a very short exercise practice for you to take away and to deepen your practice of receiving love, nurture, self-trust. This practice will be shared at the end of the video, and you can take it with you today, as well as apply it throughout the week, because it is so nurturing. I cannot praise this practice enough. And one thing that is very important that I want to mention from the very beginning is that I'm doing this challenge together with you. I am standing for what I'm saying, for what I'm sharing. I practice what I preach, and I practice what I teach. And I am wholeheartedly here with you, and we're all in this together. So let's deepen our practice of receiving, and let's spread our wings and fly high this summer, or no matter the season when you're watching this. Know that you are worthy to receive, and know that you are worthy of all your dreams. You're worthy to fly high. Okay, so I will start sharing my screen. It always takes a moment. Let's see. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. I hope you can see my screen. I want to share actually the whole screen from the current slide. Wonderful. Let me put this bar up here. Beautiful. By the way, the background is not my usual background, because I'm actually, for the summer solstice, I was called to come to Sintra, a beautiful forest with heightened energies here in Portugal. and a series of synchronicities. Speaking of receiving, when you're in the energy of receiving, a lot of synchronicities and windows of opportunities open up in your life. That's how you know you're in receiving mode, and you're tuned into yourself, and you're tuned into your higher senses, and you're receiving from the superconscious and from the infinite abundance that is always within all this universe and within you. So the synchronicity that happened to me as I arrived to Sintra for the third time, the lucky number 3, is that I met a gentleman who taking me on the way to here, my hotel where I am, shared with me the real story and the real history of Sintra. And what is less known about this part of Europe and the world is that the reason for the high energy is that this is one of the most anciently it is one of the first places where civilization was discovered in Europe. The remains of the traces of the first humans here date from 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago, imagine that. And there are monoliths in the area. There are stone formations that are very, very interesting. And they were used for various reasons. There's various hypotheses around that. But there's beautiful stone formations here in this land and around this sacred forest, Sintra. He also shared with me that besides the huge array of civilizations from the Celts, the Romans, the Moors, the Spanish, the Portuguese, everybody who civilized this area across time, who came one after the other. Among them, one in particular, the Celts, the ancient Celts, who were honoring the seasons, who were honoring the festivals of the earth throughout the year, and who were living very much in tune with the earth and the above. The name of the region was derived from the Celtic name for Cynthia, which is the moon goddess. And the moon goddess is also the goddess of receiving. Yes, she's the embodiment of the yin energy, the gentle energy of leaning back and just receiving. So what a more potent place to start the masterclass and the 5 days challenge of receiving than in this beautiful sacred place. So it's not by chance that I ended up here for the summer solstice in 2021. All right, so Cynthia, yes, I invite you to tune into this beautiful goddess energy of receiving and just lean back and receive this beautiful information as well as the practice for the end of today. All right. Okay, I think it is a little bit blocked. Let's stop sharing. I'll share again. With all this energy, it became, okay, awesome. I hope you can see my screen. I'll start sharing again. No worries. When the screen suddenly freezes, you start again. Awesome. I hope you can see this. Yay. Okay. It works this time. Beautiful. Whenever there's a challenge in your life, start again, you know? Go back and start again. It's the universe's way of telling you to take it easy. Okay, so receive the gift of you. Yeah. One very, very beautiful thing that happened to me this morning, and I wanted to start off this whole challenge with this beautiful, beautiful phrase and from this beautiful intention. As I woke up this morning, the 21st of June, 2021, by the way, you do see the 21 recurrence there and the sacred energy of the new number 21 and the energy of 3. So as I woke up this morning and before I even opened up my eyes, I heard a message inside of me sometimes. So first of all, I do have, as an empath and as an energy intuitive, I have very vivid dreams. So I receive sometimes messages in my dreams, and I sometimes receive messages even before things happen in the real plane, in the physical plane, I mean. And what I received this morning was a message. And what I heard as I was waking up and I felt my heart burst out open with love is this: your task, and it was like a voice coming out from the inside, your task is not to seek for love, nor to find love, but merely to seek and dismantle all the barriers within yourself that you have built against love. Love is all and everything that you are, just that you have put on blinders not to see it. So your task is merely to take off those blinders. And the other thing that I heard is that when that happens, when we take off the barriers within ourselves to acknowledging that we are love and we are all that we seek, then and only then we allow the flood. It's literally a flood. It's then that we allow the flood of love to pour in and wash through all of us. And what a sacred gift that is. So as I woke up, I actually Googled quickly because I remembered I knew this from somewhere, and I Googled it, this phrase that came from inside of me as I woke up, and I discovered it's Rumi, a beautiful, I knew about Rumi, but I keep coming back to these beautiful mystics of all religions across all time. The mystics are the ones, the sacred rebels, the one who spoke the truth before their times, and who were at their time renegated by the mainstream religions because they were speaking the uncomfortable truth sometimes. And the uncomfortable truth is this, is that reality is simpler than we think it is. And big topics like love and trust and well-being and health are simpler than we have been taught to believe they are. So let's all take a deep breath in before we start this challenge. I invite you to actually take a deep, deep breath in. Close your eyes and lean back and take a deep breath in from your belly. And a deep breath out. And another deep breath in from your belly. And a deep breath out. And another deep breath in from your belly. And a deep breath out. And allow the beautiful energy in your heart, that sparkle. You may feel it as a glimmering, shimmering light, or as a sparkle, or as a warmth as you connect to your heart. Allow that little feeling, that little mesmerizing feeling to spread all over and throughout all of you. That deep warmth that is always there. Allow the love that you are to be you and all of you today. Allow that beautiful river of love to flow through you. And allow it to spread and encompass all of you and everyone that you meet on your way today. And so be it. And so it is. Taking a deep, deep, deep breath in from your belly and a deep breath out. I invite you to come back. And as we are centered, we will continue the journey. Okay, I'm experiencing a little bit of trouble with the screen share, so I'm gonna start sharing again. Okay, there we go. So, I hope you can see my screen. Wonderful. So I already explained this part, why the challenge of and the masterclass of the 5 days challenge of receiving right now, because we are at a peak in terms of sunlight at this time of the year. It's the summer solstice, and it's time for us, and these sacred festivals that were respected by the ancient civilizations, that were much more in tune with the knowledge of the earth and of the higher planes. That knowledge is coming back to us right now. These sacred festivals were respected and were honored because they allowed for balance and harmony within ourselves and within our cells and our health, as well as balance and harmony for the earth and for the abundance that the earth is here to give us. So the solstice, whether it's the summer solstice or the winter solstice, it represents a 0 point of creation. It's the time where you consciously get to choose what you are here to create over the next 6 months. And for us in the northern hemisphere, as well as in the southern hemisphere, today is the day when we enter the sign of the Cancer, which, as I was mentioning, is the sign of nurture, receiving self-care, and receiving love. It is also the sign of the divine mother and the feminine energy. And what I mean by feminine energy, whenever I refer to it, I mean for both men and women, because both men and women have that energy within ourselves and within ourselves, and have the capacity for nurture, for self-care, for love. We not only have this capacity, but it's our birthright. And it's a healthy way, a balanced way of living, when you live in a state of self-love and respect for yourself and others. So overall, it is a moment to celebrate ourselves and our journeys, truly receiving the gift of us and our luminosity. Okay, and how can becoming better at receiving, did I actually choose this particular theme for the solstice? How can becoming better at receiving impact our lives? Because it interrupts and breaks unconscious patterns that we formed, that were ingrained in us while we were growing as kids and as young teenagers. Patterns such as I'm not good enough. And that particular pattern, for example, can come from having over-controlling parents, or can come from having demanding parents, or can come from actually the opposite, having neglecting parents towards you. It can come from various reasons, but we live in a pandemic of I'm not good enough for various reasons. It's a really deeply ingrained subconscious thought that rules our lives if we let it. And it's time we dismantle it. It's time we do not let that pattern and that thought pattern control our lives any longer. So when we live from I'm not good enough, that creates a pattern of overgiving, trying to prove yourself, over-pleasing, doing everything to please others, to please the external at the detriment of the self and to the point of burnout. So that's why it's so important to balance it with self-care, to relearn the sacred art of giving to oneself, of taking care of your body, your temple, your vessel. So it allows us, when we become better at receiving, it allows us to better see, understand, feel, and embody all the myriad sacred ways in which we can receive, wholeheartedly receive. And it allows us to understand that it is not a selfish act, it is a sacred act. And it is our birthright to receive. Both, so it's also balancing both energies, the giving and receiving. As it is written in the next line here, it brings us back internally into balance, into health, between the pure feminine and the pure masculine energies, the giving and the receiving. And when we have this inner harmony and trust in ourselves, when we balance the giving and the receiving, we don't overly go into one aspect at the detriment of the other, the giving at the detriment of the receiving, or too much receiving and taking at the detriment of the giving. When we do not go at the polar opposites, but we reach and walk from the middle point of the harmony, the balance, and the love, when that is established, gosh, I cannot tell you how fast the number of synchronicities in your life will start happening. Powerful manifestations you will start experiencing in the outer world, because when you love yourself, you send a powerful, signal and energy and a powerful message out into the world that you are worthy of love. And guess what? You start receiving love back in the form of so many things. So it can be friends that reach out to you to tell you that they care. They suddenly want to tell you how much they care about you, how much they love you, how much they appreciate you and you speaking your truth. How much they appreciate your nurture, your love, your luminosity, how much they appreciate your affection, how much they, and you start getting opportunities sometimes in your career, even in, you start experiencing financial synchronicities and so on and so forth. The energy of love and receiving is a powerful and potent manifester that it is time that we all start to master again. Okay. So before we go into the practice that I have prepared for you for today, I want to just remind you how I have designed this masterclass on receiving and how we will go through and journey through each day, day 1 to day 5. Day 1 is receiving on the emotional level. The following 2 days will be about receiving on the physical level and on the mental level, as well as on the soul spiritual level. How can you increase your receiving at the soul spiritual level. And the final day will include an activation, a beautiful meditation that I will wholeheartedly share with you, an activation of what it means to stand in your goddess energy power and your wholehearted energy of love, abundance, and infinite creativity. So, as mentioned, this is day 1. We start with looking at receiving on the emotional level. And before we go into the practice for today, I just want to go through 2 things. One is, what are the ways in which we sabotage receiving at this level, at the emotional level? And it is unconscious most times. It has been most times for me as well. And it still is plenty of times. And what are some of the ways in which we can rewrite this pattern of unhealthy overgiving and start tuning back into receiving on an emotional level. So ways in which we sabotage receiving on the emotional level can be, as I shared earlier, thinking that we're not good enough. And by the way, this is an insidious subconscious thought pattern in most cases. Feeling that we're not worthy to receive affection, praise, financial raises, recognition. And again, this can be going on the internal plane subconsciously. Another way in which we sabotage receiving on the emotional level is that we're not able to take in compliments. I am the first one to admit I have, and because it's been so prevalent in my life, and I see it in so many other people, is that, have you experienced actually situations when somebody, you gave them a compliment and they say, oh, it's nothing. Or they quickly go into, oh, thank you, bless you, you're also so good at this and that and that. So they feel like instantly giving back, overcompensating, overgiving. They go into their foundational pattern, which is overgiving. They go back to that and they do not take it in. Whereas a healthy way of receiving a compliment is simply saying, thank you. So taking a deep breath in and saying, thank you. I deeply appreciate that. Without needing to give back instantly, but taking a moment for yourself to truly take it all in at a cellular level and allow through the breath that you receive all of that nurture, all of that compliment, all of that affection, allowing it at an emotional, physical, in your body and mental level to sink in before we start anything else like giving back or anything we feel like doing. So this is one of the patterns in which it manifests itself. And if you want to take this as a practice out of today, this could be a very powerful practice to notice when you receive compliments and notice how you receive them and if you truly receive them. And if you notice that, like me in the past, you didn't truly receive them, but you deflected or minimized them or you were feeling like you instantly needed to give back, don't beat yourself up. No, it's okay. Just hold yourself gently, notice what is the pattern and say, wholeheartedly, you can go back and say, thank you. You know, I really deeply appreciated that compliment. It made my day. It made my hour. It made my minute. I really wholeheartedly appreciate the compliment in you for saying that. This is what it means to take it all in and to receive. So you can start by rewriting even this little thing that can become big, which is noticing when you receive a compliment and fully receiving it, fully taking it in. Okay, other ways in which we don't allow receiving at an emotional level can be overgiving at work, at home, in our relationships, in our friendships, feeling like we need to constantly be there and help others. Instead of, when we do that, by the way, we steal away their power of rising up on their own and giving to themselves. And we take away their power of self-mastery when we go sometimes into over-helping. It is a stretch, yet it is sometimes a lot healthier to lean back and to just hold space for somebody. Yeah. And also another way in which we do not receive at an emotional level is anytime we feel needy and we feel like we don't deserve, or we punish ourselves or talk down to ourselves for wanting to receive back. No, it's our right to receive. And it all starts from us. I'm not saying we should constantly crave and cling on to others for receiving. No, not at all. If we do not learn the sweet and sacred art of receiving from ourselves, first and foremost, if we do not relearn, repattern in ourselves the sacred art of self-love, then how can we claim anything on the external from others? And if we do claim it, then from a place of neediness, that's when it comes from a place of neediness. And that's when we distort the flow and we create mutual codependency patterns that are unhealthy for both parties. So let's start and let's look in the mirror with what we can handle and what we can manage, and that is ourselves. This is why we're here for, guys and ladies. We're here for self-mastery. We're here for self-love, for remembering in ourselves first and foremost, before we model it to anybody else, remembering what it means to stand in your sacred art and your sacred birthright to receive love and nurture and care, because it is your birthright. And again, much like Rumi is saying, and much like your inner heart is knowing, this is who you are. All of that love and only love. Okay, I needed to take a deep breath in after saying this. Now, let's reverse the flow. Let's look at how we can receive, start learning to rewrite these patterns, bless them, and let's dismantle them. I go deeper actually into my programs, my online programs and my online coaching. I go much deeper into how you can actually dismantle and rewrite these patterns, these subconscious patterns on a mental, physical and energetical level and emotional level. I go through all of this in much more detail. And if you wanna reach out for that, you can reach out to me at any time, as well as go to my website, illuminatedessence.life, and find out more there. So let's look at some of the ways in which we can also, on our own, by ourselves, this is absolutely free for everybody to do and receive, how we can receive back on an emotional level. Okay, so one of the things that I have practiced and has helped me a lot, and is practiced by many people that are into the coaching industry, as well as self-love, mentors, and people like you and me, just that are starting to take back their power and their journey into receiving on a healthy level, is having a written go-to list of all the reasons why you deserve to achieve certain goals and milestones that you have set for yourself. So this is what I'm saying. Whenever you set a goal, a milestone for yourself, whether it is in the beginning of the year or on a monthly basis, or every 3 months or every 6 months, for every summer solstice, you revise your vision. I want you, next to the vision that you write down, next to the goals that you write down for yourself, I would like you to write down next to each goal all of the reasons that you can think of right there and then. And it needn't be a comprehensive list. You can keep writing on that list as you go along. Or a list of all the reasons why you deserve to achieve those goals and those milestones. And guess what? That list will serve you through the inevitable times that we all go through, when we feel low, when we feel down, when we feel like, oh my goodness, this is so hard, I'm not worthy to receive this, or this goal is never going to happen. That's the moment when you go back to that list to remind yourself of all the reasons why you're worthy to receive that which you have set for yourself as a dream, as a goal, as an ambition. And remember, when you dream, is the universe, infinity dreaming through you. That is the pure power of creation. So it is serving you well to have a list of all the reasons why you're worthy to receive that, my love. So please have that list written down every time you set a goal for yourself and for the existing goals you have. And you can go back to it if you want at the beginning of every day before you even start work on your dreams and on your goals, because it will replenish you with all of that. I am all that I want. I am not only good enough, I am the power of my dreams. And I recognize the power, the love, and the truth that I embody, and that I am fully deserving, and it is my birthright to achieve all that I am dreaming of and more. It really connects you to that energy and that inner power. Okay, another way to receive at an emotional level is having a gratitude practice that you cultivate in your life. So many people have started doing that. If you don't have it, or if you think it's superfluous, please look at why do you think it's superfluous. And before going into judging, because we all have this habit of judging, before going into judging, go back to let me actually first practice this, because oftentimes I also find myself judging a particular method and thinking it's overly simple. And actually, when I start, it's like yoga, you see somebody do a yoga position and you think, it's simple, I can do it. And when you actually sit and you go try that position first, and you try sitting in it for 1-2 minutes, you realize, oh my goodness, this is not as easy as I thought. This takes work. It's the same with the simple practices back to self-love, self-care, and self-nurture, and to receiving. They may seem simple in the beginning, but they're actually hiding a wealth, a treasure behind, a treasure of beautiful, beautiful replenishing energy. So what the practice of cultivating gratitude in my life every day has done is that it allows me to start the day from a cup full, from a full cup, from a full inner cup. Yeah. So it can be as simple as writing down, having a journal right next to your bed, and the minute you wake up, you write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. Or if you are the type of person who prefers to do it before you go to bed at nighttime, or you can have both beginning and end of day, you can do it at the end of the day as well. Writing down 3 reasons why you're grateful for that day, for things that have happened to you that day. And also I would add 3 reasons you're grateful for yourself. This is so important. I cannot tell you how important it is to write down the reasons you're grateful to yourself for that day. Even if it was a rainy day, please write down all the reasons why you're grateful for yourself that day. Because that's where it all starts from self-love. And that's when we feel our bodies from the inside out with the energy of love, we have more energy to, guess what, to create, to manifest, and to go after our dreams. And things start happening much more easily in our lives. We start experiencing these beautiful synchronicities. Okay, another way to receive on an emotional level is to learn to daily speak words of love and encouragement to yourself. And this is what the practice of today will be linked to. So I'm not spending too much time on this slide on it. Also, cultivating a connection with your heart through a daily a daily ritual. It needn't be daily, actually. You can be even doing it once a week, but please cultivate a connection and a dialogue to your heart. And that simply means doing what we did in the beginning of this class, tuning into your body, taking a few deep breaths in and out, putting your hands on your heart, because some people find it easier to connect to their heart this way. And with your eyes closed, just sit and receive. There's nothing to do. Sit and receive and see what arises from your heart. See and feel in and tune into what arises from your heart. Maybe she has something to tell you. Maybe she has something to show you. Maybe she wants something from you. And it's time we listen. It's time we start listening again to our hearts, because they hold the sacred gateway into empowerment and into deeper self-realization for us all and as a planet. When we tune into the energy of heart and lovingness, everything in us and around us and the whole planet benefits from this. And if you would like to receive, actually, I have a beautiful meditation that I do daily to connect to my heart. If you would like to receive that meditation, please write me a short message or a short note, drop your email under this video, or you can reply to my newsletters, to my emails, and ask that I share with you this meditation, and I will share this heart connection meditation with you. I will share it with all of my heart with you. And as mentioned earlier, another way to receive on an emotional level is to open up to compliments, to notice when we receive them instead of dismissing them, but to start noticing and become happy about them, to celebrate them and say, thank you, I receive that. To take a deep breath in and out and just simply receive them and say, thank you, thank you. Thank you, and I appreciate you for saying that. Thank you, and letting them sink in your body deeply. Okay, so I hope I have at least opened a few doors, if not more than just one, for you to start receiving at a deeper level emotionally. Okay, there's more. I did this. I prepared actually the slides this morning, and it was pouring. It was pouring with love and beautiful information, free gifts for you to receive. Other ways to reverse the flow, of overgiving and going back and balance it with receiving is to smile more often and give yourself reasons to be joyful daily. Do one practice that uplifts you every day. That's a great way to receive on an emotional level. Also, I have to admit, I don't want to use the word guilty, because that's not something to promote. I've been there and I've done that, and it's a recurring thing for me to over worry sometimes. What are people gonna say? That's something that is not us. By the way, it's been ingrained in us from intergenerationally, from our parents, from our tutors in school, and so on and so forth. What are people gonna say? Well, it's their business what they're going to say and think. You, my darling, and your business is to just focus on yourself and on yourself and on dismantling all the barriers to love and to self-love and self-growth that you may have knowingly or unknowingly allowed to grow around you and around your heart. So dismantling all those barriers so that the love just pours in continuously. Okay. So worrying is something we do a lot, and bless us, it's just an ingrained habit, and it takes time to overwrite it, to override it. So whenever you notice yourself worrying, just remember you can stop sweating the small stuff. You just remind yourself, ask yourself, how important is this going to be in 3 years from now? And how important is this going to be when I will have already achieved all of my vision? Or just how important is this from the perspective of the universe, of a higher consciousness? So allow yourself to ask that bigger question, expand your horizon, and don't sweat the small stuff. Just let them be. It's their business. Just let them be. Okay, another way to reverse the flow and start receiving emotionally is by being there for yourself. So important for us to, this is how we start rewriting our patterns of feeling not good enough or not worthy to receive. Whenever you feel not seen, not heard, not understood by others, that's when it's time for you more than ever to give yourself love and recognition. It's you, it starts with you. So whenever that happens to me, I go back into giving myself the love and recognition that I know I deserve. And you will see that the more you do that, it all builds up step by step until you realize one day that you can stand in your truth and it is safe. And you can stand in your light, and you attract a like-minded, like-hearted tribe when you stand in your light. It's safe for you to share your gifts, your skills, your practices, your worth, your love, your light, and no longer be affected by what others think. It's safe, and it becomes easier to no longer be affected by what others think. And also, guess what? When you allow yourself to stand in that power, that love, that recognition for yourself, that's when your genius creative side unleashes at a whole new level and flourishes. And because our genius, our inner genius and our inner creativity, guess what? It thrives. It's like a flower, like a beautiful lotus flower. It thrives when it is watered with self-love and trust. And ways you can give yourself love and recognition are plentiful. Yeah, it can be some of the ways we've discussed before. Some people, by the way, find love in just helping others. It brings them joy. However, if you notice that it brings you a burnout and an energy of resentment and an energy of like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. And when you notice you are depleted internally, no, that's not a good time to give. That's a time to retreat and lean into receiving, to nurture yourself and for self-care. So a beautiful, potent way to receive is to cultivate a weekly self-care me time ritual around which you can create boundaries. By the way, that's your non-negotiable time for yourself weekly, on a weekly basis, at least once a week, please, based on your passions. Yeah, so the self-care rituals are different for everybody. We're all different and we're all unique, beautiful beings. So your self-care ritual may be different than mine. Mine has to do with meditation, with nature. It has to do with taking beautiful swims in the ocean. It has to do with essential oils and massages. It has to do with beautiful many things, yeah? But your ritual, my love, is based on your passions and also what makes your emotional body feel good and safe and loved and held and replenished with affection. Yeah, so I gave you some examples there, but again, it can be anything that gives you that emotional replenishment that you need. It can be, yeah, sometimes listening to a podcast, the speaker you feel inspired by, hanging out with friends that uplift you, not the type of friends that that are constantly complaining and that you are the one that has to constantly lift up. No, starting to choose and select who you hang out with. It's all okay. And especially in the moments when you need self-care, in those sacred moments, only tune in to people that truly deeply uplift you and make you smile and make you feel good about yourself, because you deserve to feel good about yourself. And that's what you are: pure divine goodness, pure divine richness, pure divine love. I cannot state that enough of times. That is what you truly are. Just that we have been made to walk around with these blinders and forget. And it's time we remember, and it's time we stand in our truth, the truth of who we really are and what we really are. This infinite, joyous, ever creating love. So the practice, we finally reached the stage of the practice. Woohoo! I'm making the video for day one a little bit longer. I will do my best to shorten the video for day 2 and the upcoming ones. Yeah, this was the introductory video, so that's why it's a little bit longer. So the practice that I have prepared for you today that I want you to embed in your weekly, in this week, yeah, at least this week. I'm not saying follow it every week, but at least this week, the big potent week of the summer solstice, when we open our hearts wide and we start envisioning and we start looking at what we want to receive in the next 6 months. Yeah, please incorporate this practice. I encourage you to do so. I challenge you to do so, and I'm challenging myself as well to do so. And I will, and I am doing it. I'm taking this journey together with you as promised. So please write down on a daily basis 5 uplifting affirmations about yourself. Yeah, and do this for the whole week. So these 5 uplifting affirmations can be, I'll give you some examples. I'm worthy of love. I am love. I am that which I seek. I see my light. I see my worth. I honor my worth. I honor who I am. I am worthy of receiving. For example, if you're in the space where you're looking for a career, to make a career transition, I'm worthy of receiving the level of appreciation and nurture that I deserve from my next job, my next placement, my next career. These are just some examples. It can be anything you feel like writing down, and let it pour out of you. Do the very simple practice. You can do the very simple practice that I showed you in the beginning that we all went through. Just putting your hands on your heart, taking the time to take 3 deep breaths in from your belly and out through your mouth, and just quieting and sitting there quiet in silence, in pure divine absolute love and silence with your heart. And then when you're ready, you can start writing down the 5 affirmations that pour out of your heart for yourself that day. And don't worry if they repeat themselves on a daily basis. Some of them may want to repeat themselves, some affirmations. And that's great. It's something you're ingraining into yourself on a deeper level than ever before. And I want to actually take it next level, this practice. And I want to encourage you, once you've written down the 5 affirmations, this is very, very important. And this is deep inner work. After you've written them down, to look at yourself in the mirror and read those affirmations back to yourself. Because as we all know, the eyes are the window to the soul. And when you speak words of love, and when you affirm to yourself that you are worthy, you are enough, you are lovable, you are seen, you're heard, you're held, and you're embraced just as you are, that's when it sinks deeply into your mental and emotional plane. And that's when you start doing the deep work of rewriting your subconscious, or sometimes even unconscious patterns that we all have, more or less of. So read them out loud to yourself in the mirror, each of these affirmations. And at the end, thank yourself. Thank yourself for showing up just as you are every day. And enjoy this. I really wish you to enjoy every practice that we go through every day. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to recap. Your practice for today is to please write down 5 uplifting affirmations about yourself. What does your heart want to express to yourself? What does your soul want you to know? What does your soul want you to know most of about yourself right now, right here, right now? Write those 5 affirmations down and then read them out loud to yourself in the mirror. That's it. That's all. And I invite you to share here in the thread or in the email, if you feel like it. I invite you to share how this practice has impacted you and what you felt while doing it. And every emotion, every feeling is welcome here. There's no judging, no shaming, no blaming. Everything is welcome here. We are here to hold space for each other, unconditionally loving, and to grow together. So with that said, I send you so much love. I hope you enjoyed the day 1 video for the Receive Challenge. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.